did not think this through. I really need to pee. You're an artist and you're trying to make art, but the world is burning.
Mama, a girl behind you.
Oh my God.
Hello?
Therefore, you must remember that art is resistance.
Oh, did you hear that one fall?
Welcome back to State of the Artist. If you're new here or new to my content, welcome. This is a safe space where we unpack all things art and mental health. My subscribers voted for today's topic, but before we dive deeper, I want to take a breath and say how lucky I am to have such wonderful subscribers. I am truly blessed, and absolutely everything about my channel feels magical. So I thought I'd bring you to a magical place in my heart as a thank you, and I actually needed to touch grass because I am chronically online, and if you care about the world, you probably are too. First of all, look at my view. Doesn't nature have the best vibes? This is my happy place, and it's the result of a whimsical manifestation. I'll tell you about it at the end, so let's get stuck in. One of the best ways to get into the right mindset to make art is to find someone that you truly look up to for inspiration. For me, that person is Toni Morrison. If you don't know who Toni Morrison is, she is a world-renowned author and overall incredible human. She wrote this essay that stood out for me vividly 20 years ago. She was staring out of a window, caught in an extremely dark mood, feeling helpless. Then a friend, also an artist, called to ask her how she was doing. And instead of offering the polite, "I'm fine," she blurted out the truth. "Not well. Not only am I depressed, I can't seem to work, to write. It's as though I'm paralysed, unable to work on my novel that I've just begun." But the election, before she could finish, he cut her off urgently. No. This is the precise time that artists go to work. Not when everything is fine, but in times of dread. That is our job. Toni Morrison wrote that after Bush got elected 20 years ago, but couldn't that have been written literally last year in December? If Toni Morrison hadn't pushed through adversity to become the most powerful author, I don't think I would be here talking to you about her work, and you wouldn't be watching this. Feeling deeply is human, but staying in pity paralysis because the world is on fire serves no one. Hello, darling. You gonna come and say hello? Yeah, you're gonna come and say hello. Hello. You gonna sniff? You sniff? Hello. 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 You're a goodie. Yeah. You can see my things. Yeah, this is your house.
I just live here. Well, actually, I'm just visiting. You live here.
Sorry about that. Staying in pity paralysis because the world is on fire serves no one, least of all you. I'm going to come back to Toni Morrison, so hold that thought. Right now, as an artist, you can control your own narrative for the first time. You can market yourself through your own vision. It's the greatest privilege to have a phone, press record, like I'm doing right now. 15 years ago, this would never have been possible because I wouldn't have had the filming equipment. This microphone would have cost literally so much. And to be honest, we're able to not be censored as artists in history. We're able to connect to each other directly on a global scale and in ways our ancestors never could before, worldwide. I've come to believe that part of the gift as an artist is to document the world around us in real time. The point of art is to reflect society honestly. So yes, the world is a shit show, but I ask myself, when has it ever not been? And seriously, ask yourself, has there ever been a good time to make art? For me, in this moment, despite everything, this feels like the most important time to be creating. So what if the solution is to become softer with yourself rather than harder? Isn't life hard enough and you want to punish yourself for finding joy in making art? How dare you make art whilst the world is crumbling? Darling, the world has always been crumbling, and artists have made beauty within the rubble. That's the flex, that's the defiance, that's the protest. We make art not because it's safe, but because it's a revolutionary act. Because beauty is a balm that heals. Ooh. Oh, hello. Hello. I didn't realise you were behind me. Oh, did you hear that one fart? That is so funny.
A few moments later.
Now then, where was I? I moved. We make art not because it's safe, but because it's a revolutionary act. Beauty is a balm that heals. Creating, as everything burns, is what keeps humanity alive.
It keeps you from reaching for the gun too quickly. It keeps you from destroying things too foolishly. It sort of keeps you alive. And it keeps you open for more understanding.
We need art to survive in these times. We cannot live without it. I'm not telling you to turn a blind eye to the wars of the world, but to shift your attention to what you can do. What are you good at? Making art. Anyway, back to Toni Morrison. I continue this essay. She said she felt foolish for the rest of the morning when she recalled the artists who had done their work in gulags, prison cells, hospital beds, and those who were executed. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. I know the world is bruised and bleeding, and though it is important to not ignore its pain, it's also critical to refuse to succumb to malevolence.
We live in a culture that kills artists, wants them to die. It kills them. People who talk poetically or act and express are totally devalued, just like women are devalued.
Making art matters. I would definitely be insane if I wasn't an artist. If I didn't write or I didn't play an instrument, I would be nuts. Fantasy helps me deal with reality. I need escapism to deal with the world. Like, look at where I am with these horses. This is literally a dream. I really struggle with depression and have ever since I was around 14, and the last few months have been pretty difficult because I was in and out of hospital with chronic illness, and I've spent so much time indoors and not being able to go out. So when I have moments like this to grab these moments of fantasy, whether it's finding a film you really identify with or listening to an album, crying about a moment in the past that you understand today, it helps you understand today. I was saying this to my friend Red Moon. She's a gorgeous siren pop artist, and her voice makes me cry because it's so beautiful, and I believe certain people's voices are healing. The vibration of their voice is like an ointment. I get to imagine a life outside of sickness and pain, and art allows us to have these beautiful moments of brightness and to have a break from the intensity of the madness. Please don't deny the world the beauty of your art. Imagine if we didn't have art. Imagine how much harder everything would be to deal with, these daily struggles or trying to escape our environments. The precise reason you want to make art is because of all the artists that have got you through some of the hardest times. I also want to scream from the rooftops that making art isn't easy. The process is really intense. There's so much sacrifice.
If you want to help your community, if you want to help your family, if you want to help your friends, you have to express yourself. And to express yourself, you have to know yourself. It's actually super easy. You just have to follow your love, right? There is no path. There's no path till you walk it. And you have to be willing to play the fool.
But it's not just about making art. So much about making art is learning how to live in the silence of the liminal space when you're not making art. Most of life is in these in-between moments. Now, another legend who I deeply respect is the late, great Audre Lorde. She wrote, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare." Lorde's work has greatly influenced me as an artist. Self-care, in her vision, was always meant to be a radical act of self-love and a way to protect your health, and not about buying 15 different face masks. It was rooted in the importance of caring for your physical health and mental well-being as an act of resistance and protest. And she argued that self-care, particularly for women of colour, is essential for survival and empowerment in the face of oppression. For Lorde, self-care was not about indulgence or superficiality. It was about honouring yourself. You need to. It's an act of rebellion in the dehumanising forces that we live in society. If you're enjoying this video, and I'm assuming you are because you're still here, go ahead and like it. And if you're an artist like me, let me know in the comments so I can support you. Reciprocity. Real compassion for the world includes you. When you exclude yourself, when your compassion excludes yourself, it's not sustainable. Self-erasure isn't care. Art is in exact defiance of erasure. It's exposure. That is why you must make it, why you have to make it. Rest is part of that strategy as an artist. No one should have to earn rest. Resting isn't retreat. Whilst putting the world's needs ahead of you feels selfless, it's often driven by internalized shame. Like, you don't deserve to take up space with your art. So you play the helper, the fixer, but you can't ignore your mental health. The government doesn't care if you martyr yourself. It wants you gone anyway, so don't help them do the job. What works is resilience and persistence and not giving up on yourself. Being an artist is so much about self-respect because as I started to make art, I also started to have this profound gratitude for my body. If you're scrolling for multiple hours a day, I don't hear enough content creators talking about this more honestly, because what's your screen time like? I had to set limits on my phone because I kept telling myself it was for research. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not healthy to overexpose yourself to the world's trauma non-stop. I had to set limits on scrolling apps because I don't trust myself. Because I can't stop. I'm going to be super honest, because I was chronically online. It used to be bad. Like, I had 9 to 12 hours at one point, and I've got myself down to 1 to 3, and I feel so much better because I'm still informed, but not drowning in anxiety from overconsumption. I genuinely feel so much better when my screen time is low. I need to have my hands free so I can get my ideas down. I have 0 notifications on my phone, and I haven't for almost 5 years because I don't need that type of anxiety, and I've never missed an opportunity. I've not missed out. You're not going to miss out. You need boundaries online just as much as you do in real life. Being an artist is a marathon. If you sprint in the first 5 miles, you're going to crash out. As artists, our physical and mental health are linked. Mind and body connection is so real. This is why I made this channel, because nobody links mental health with physical health. We go through so much as artists and no one respects the work behind the scenes. Only the finished product, only the art, not the state of the artist. No one sees the mental fortitude and effort required to do this work. If you don't make art, you deny certain parts of yourself. And your body knows. It's like you're lying to your soul. And when we internalize things, we literally do. So that's why when we're stressed, our immune system turns off. It affects our body. Art is one of the ways I care for my mental health. For me, art is a deeply sacred love between me and God. When we are forced to sacrifice art, we sacrifice part of our humanity. Art isn't seen as essential, so it's often the first thing that we sacrifice. And that makes me so sad because it's like removing like a vital organ for me. And I know that's a bit dramatic, but it's so important to me for regulating my nervous system.
There's a thing that worries me sometimes whenever you talk about creativity, because it can have this kind of feel that it's just nice, you know, or it's warm, or it's something pleasant. It's not. It's vital. It's the way we heal each other.
In the stillness and the quiet and in the presence, I'm signaling to my body that I am safe. It's like birdsong. Subconsciously, it makes me feel safe because there can't be predators when birds are singing. The same goes for art, because when there are days when I can't even get out of bed, when I'm in pain, I can write about it. I can still express it. I can still put pen to paper. I can listen to music as I do it. It means so much to me to have these simple privileges. But you have to steal moments like this because nobody's going to give them to you. I really need to pee.
I think I'm actually gonna have to go in the bushes.
I did it. What really helped me shift my focus was leading by example. And that's way more powerful. Trust me, no one listens when you try to change their behaviour. Nobody wants to be nagged. Nobody likes being told what to do. When we dictate and force people to open their eyes, they rarely listen. Making art is a sacred ritual, and it's a hill that I'm willing to die on. I wouldn't be here if I didn't advocate for myself. I had to prioritize my health, and if I had never done that, I swear to God I would not be alive today. Because I took care of myself, I can now show up for my community, and I will probably have chronic health issues for the rest of my life. And part of why I advocate for art is because of how it has helped me understand so much of myself. I show up here because there's nowhere else I would rather be. I love sharing with you and what I learn, but my health comes first. That's why I'll always give you quality over quantity. People pleasing doesn't work because people are never pleased. From my experience, if caring comes from a place of abandonment or people pleasing, then it's not empathy, it's the trauma speaking. Artists, so much of why we don't make art is down to psychological blocks, not talent. Psychology and art are intertwined. It's never surface level, and it's always that deep, and I know you know that. Alain de Botton is one of my favourite modern philosophers. He has School of Life on YouTube, and it is such an eye-opening channel that has helped me enormously with repairing my reactivity in relationships. He recently said,
A marker of good parenting is that your child doesn't have any wish to be famous.
I was like, wait a damn minute. I've never wanted to be famous, but I don't automatically think that it's problematic to want to be. He goes on to say that adults who have been validated as children have an internal system of validation, meaning they don't seek to be known by millions of strangers. As adults, they can be content by knowing a small number of people and having that reciprocity instead of seeking it outside. Now, whilst I don't fully agree with him on that, I do think it's certainly the case for child stars who are pushed into the limelight by their caregivers. It's so interesting to reflect on because I think the opposite can also be true. Not that being famous means that you have good parents, but let me break this down. It highlighted something I've never really seen talked about before when it comes to being perceived, and it's how many artists who struggle with being perceived probably have someone in their family system who was creating chaos around them. They might run directly away from attention because of that person's behaviour. Now, some people weaponize attention. Not all attention seeking is pathological. It's often a cry for help and subconscious. But when it's persistently harmful and manipulative, it really affects the surrounding people. And there is a particular type of person who loves causing drama in family systems, and they make everyone center them, and it kind of makes runts in the family, so to speak, because that one person controls the whole family dynamic and hogs all of the nourishment. Now, I know that's not the best metaphor, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Now, the last thing we want is to be like that person who wants attention at any cost, negative or positive. It could be someone else's birthday and they'll find a way to blow out their birthday candles. Someone's back from the hospital and now they're suddenly ill. We see that one person dominate and ruin holidays, family plans, causing scene after scene after scene because everything has to be about them and it's embarrassing. So we internalize all of that shame as our own. Sometimes we even have to step in and apologise for their behaviour or make amends because other people are victim to it outside of our family systems or friendships. And it's no wonder we don't feel comfortable in the spotlight. Always felt comfortable behind the camera rather in front of it. And I think that's the real reason why so many artists think that it's cringe to market themselves. We associate being the centre of attention with those same people who are driving us nuts. And we associate the centre of attention with being vain, and I know I did, and hugely negative. You start to resent famous people online because they echo that obnoxious person who made everything about them. So it creates this distortion in your mind where you want to make art and share it, but because you don't want to be like them, you refuse to let yourself be in the spotlight. And that's why it's easier to campaign for other people's causes. Helping others with their pain becomes a proxy for your own projected grief. And sometimes I realise I've spent years parenting other people, everyone but myself, my lovers, my family, my friends, even the world. And that was what was really getting in the way of me making art. And maybe you felt that too. So who's looking out for you? Everyone gets help and to be heard except for you. It's a sneaky, avoidant way to not make art and a way of bypassing our own needs and desires. There's art there in the painful things that we're trying to avoid. If you ever learn to center your art or your needs, you start to become invisible. And the problem with that is that others might unknowingly do so too. And you train other people to subconsciously make themselves invisible. Because you don't need anything, right? You're strong, you're independent, you've gotten through everything on your own. Not having needs isn't the flex you think it is. It's our childhood speaking sometimes. And you can let that go now because it's inhibiting your growth as an artist and your authenticity. We silence our deepest needs to feel safe, but now we get to choose. We get to reparent ourselves and to center our art and our voice. So you're allowed to take up space. It's revolutionary to take up space with your art. It's not self-centered, and you're not going to become like them. Art has existed for as long as humans have. It is built into the fabric of a healthy society. And the point of our human experience is to be honourable, even when nobody is watching, even when no one can hold you accountable for your actions. To make art is because it means something purely to your soul, because it is who you are, and it is in congruence with your soul's purpose. Thank you for being here with me. I love it. I love being able to do this. How lucky am I to be here with you? It truly is incredible. I'm so lucky. This has been State of the Artist. If you found this useful, go ahead and share and like and subscribe, please. This has been my most magical State of the Artist. Thank you for everybody who's staying for the extra bits. It was completely by accident, and it was by following my curiosity. I'm always telling you guys to do this, and this is why, because you find magical places. I was just on this walk, and I kept walking, and I came up here, and I saw this marvel. There's nobody here. Not one person has bothered me since I've been here. I don't bother the horses, they don't bother me. Let me tell you about the experience, because I had this idea, right? I had this idea because I saw this girl who's a horse rider talk about how horses really are anxious. And if you're anxious, you can freak them out basically because they don't like that type of energy. They prefer to be grounded and they prefer like confident energy. Trust that kind of vibe. And so I've been on this journey with CPTSD and I've been working on learning how to ground myself quite quickly. Nobody's going to be a better judge of that than an animal. I love animals, but I did not want to ride a horse. So imagine I'm following my curiosity in the countryside and I see this after I write down in my journal that I want to have a natural experience with a horse. I wanted a test to see how I could conduct myself and whether they were going to come up to me or not. Either way, you know, consent. I want their consent and this is their space. Anyway. I'll show you the footage. I love you.
When the chow is tea, but the finnet is gag, sis, I'm dead as a child. Girl.
Hello. Hello. It's okay. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Hello. Hello. It's so hot, isn't it, sweetheart? Yeah, you're lovely, aren't you?
She's having the best time. Oh my god. This is my view, guys. I've decided to call her Beyonce because she's just absolutely magical. Look at her. Bust down for days.
I'm very demurtsy. I'm very cutesy. I'm very demure. But I mix them both because I'm what? Very demurtsy. I'm very cute with it, but I'm very mindful with it, very respectful with it. I don't do too much, I do just enough. I don't go overboard, I don't go
Hello! Hello! Hello, sweetheart! Dancing. I actually feel like an autistic Disney princess.